We have a kind of nice way to start 2022 in a very particular sense amongst a lot of bad news. And that's that radical right lunatic Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene has been permanently banned from Twitter for continuing to spread COVID disinformation. Now, there are people acting like we'll get to the people saying this is fascism. It's very funny. We'll get to that. People acting like this was on a whim with no forethought or basis. This was her fifth strike. There's an article in the New York Times. Twitter permanently suspends Marjorie Taylor Greene's account. Social media service says she violated its COVID misinformation policy. Twitter suspended her account after she tweeted on Saturday falsely about, quote, extremely high amounts of COVID vaccine deaths. She included a misleading chart that pulled information from a government database of unverified raw data called VAERS, a decade-old system that relies on self-reported cases from patients and healthcare providers. Twitter said Ms. Greene had a fifth strike, which meant her account will not be restored. The company had issued her a fourth strike in August when she falsely posted vaccines were failing. She had a third strike a month before that when she tweeted COVID was not dangerous and vaccines should not be mandated. Her official congressional account, RepMTG, remains active because tweets from that account didn't violate the service's rules. So just to go through it element by element, I'm showing people the RepMTG account. That one has about 400,000 followers. She has not posted there since December 24th, where she posted a Christmas message of some kind. I'll just play a few seconds of it, and I will warn you, listening to her speak is extremely triggering in a lot of different ways.
On behalf of myself, my family, and staff, I want to wish all Americans, and especially those in the 14th District of
the... we're done with that. There are some people reacting to this in ways that don't really make a lot of sense to me. A lot of people are calling this. So there's I don't even know where to start. First, there's people criticizing and saying that we need regulation. Twitter shouldn't be allowed to do this. Why can't businesses have terms of service that they enforce? And that's just what it is. There's a lot of confusion from people who generally say businesses should be allowed to do whatever they want as long as it's not illegal, and very few things should be illegal, who are saying businesses shouldn't be allowed to require vaccines. Well, hold on. Can they require that you wear a shirt? Yeah. Can they require that you wear shoes? Yeah. If you don't like it, can you choose just not to go there? Yeah. But they can't do vaccines? Okay. Doesn't make sense. That's one hypocrisy. But then the other one is they are saying there should be something that the government does to prevent these businesses from deciding for themselves what they want to do as long as it's not illegal. Now, there's another aspect of this, which is people saying this is authoritarian fascism. Former guest Brian Klass, he's been on a couple times and he was on a few months ago. He had a really great perspective on this, which you can find on Twitter. And he wrote, whenever Twitter suspends someone for spreading deadly lies, someone will call it authoritarianism or fascism. It's the opposite. It's a free market company making decisions without government interference or directives. Fascism is the inverse. Fascism is extreme state control. And Brian goes on to say, there are complicated free speech issues around social media, which anybody who's thoughtful agrees with that. But I can assure you, says Brian, that Twitter couldn't make its own choices to ban government officials somewhere like North Korea. They would instantly be shut down. We don't have fascism here because Twitter can do this. And at least for now, the government isn't saying you got to allow Marjorie Taylor Greene to lie about vaccines or Trump to do whatever. So let's be consistent. Is it illegal to do what Twitter is doing? It is not. Well, then by their definition, if it's not illegal, it's okay. And people can choose to boycott. There's many of you might remember or know or, whatever, that the David Pakman Show started in the city I grew up in, Northampton, Massachusetts. And I still have a lot of friends in Northampton. And recently there was a hearing held by the Northampton Board of Health about businesses requiring vaccines. More and more businesses, I hear from friends, this business, that business is requiring vaccines. I have friends who own businesses in Northampton. They say, we're going to require vaccines of customers. And they had this hearing via Zoom, and people could comment on Facebook and elsewhere. And you have all these people making conflicting and different arguments. It's like about this is the worst decision ever. This is authoritarianism. This is Nazi. This is fascism. This is all these different things. Break it down element by element. Is it illegal for a business to require proof of vaccines? I don't even care about, does it do anything? I've said at this point, this thing is so contagious that the vaccines primarily are protecting people from serious illness, hospitalization, and death. It's still, the cat is out of the bag. This thing is clearly going to burn its way through, whether there's a vaccine requirement at a local restaurant or not. But is it illegal to require vaccines? No. Okay. So now we're just in the realm of opinion. You don't like businesses that require vaccination, then don't go to them. It's really that simple. Marjorie Taylor Greene knew what the rules were at this point. She chose to break them. It's her fault. She should be banned. That's it. Officials don't get a special allowance to spread disinformation about a public health crisis because they're elected officials. She was elected by Georgia Trumpists to represent them. It doesn't mean that you get a national platform or global platform to tell lies that violate the policy of Twitter. Is Twitter discriminating against people on the basis of race when they do these things? No. Are they discriminating on the basis of national origin? No. If you don't like it, you don't have to use Twitter. That's fundamentally what it is. And this really does matter. And what I mean by that is when Trump was banned from Twitter, Mango Mussolini, the Tangerine Terror, you guys remember the guy. The amount in general of hate speech went down. The amount of people weren't then re-amplifying the stuff Trump was putting out there. So this works and it's legal. If you don't like it, that's a different story. And if you want to propose regulation of Twitter of some kind, I'm glad to discuss it. But then we have to be able to say we should be regulating all sorts of different businesses that right wingers always say, let them do whatever they want, as long as it's not illegal as of right now. I want to hear from you guys. We'll post more about this on our Instagram. You can find us there at David Pakman Show. One of our sponsors is Sheath Underwear. It's summer right now in the Northern Hemisphere. It's hot. It's humid. Many of the men in my audience know about the discomfort that can come with this with traditional underwear, the sweating, the chafing, the sticking. Not fun. And that's what Sheath Underwear has solved. Sheath has designed men's boxer briefs with multiple ergonomic compartments built into the front of the underwear, which keeps everything separate, dry, cool, and comfortable all day long. Sheath has re-released 2 limited edition styles, Flower of Life with a stylish flower pattern and bold geometric waistband. The other limited edition style is the Mesh Airflow, especially designed to be lightweight and promote extra coolness and breathability. Give Sheath Underwear a try. I've had a great experience with it. I think you will too. You can find the link underneath this video. And don't forget to use promo code PAKMAN for 20% off.